This is the Nerdy Things Podcast. This podcast contains strong language, adult themes, and poorly developed ideas. We apologize for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of the Nerdy Things Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin. I am joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
Not much, Kevin. What's going on with you?
Not much at all. I've had a pretty busy week, done some nerdy stuff, tried to go to the movies as much as I could, and just generally enjoyed life. It's pretty good.
That's awesome. What nerdy stuff did you do?
I saw Love, Simon in the theaters. That was really cool.
Nice.
I got
Simon?
too deep into that RoboCraft game I was telling you about last week.
Where you go to a random GameStop and fight robots, but you can
exactly. I actually just punched an Uber car. It was totally different, but that's neither here nor there. But really just trying to build too many computers for family members because apparently I am the one responsible for all of their technology needs.
Oh, Kevin, are you the guy that
I'm the guy.
Older person calls and is like, I can't get my internet to
Oh
work?
my God, every time. Right now I'm working on my parents' computer, which for some reason the hard drive keeps maxing out in resources and I can't figure out why. And so then I got a call from my grandmother for their computer being shit as well. And it's like, okay, I'm going to use my spare parts to build my parents a new computer. Then I'm going to reset that computer that I took from my parents and give that to my grandparents and just see if I can make everybody happy that way.
See, I feel like a lot of our listeners are probably in that same boat where they're the one nerdy one. That John, he loves computers. Maybe he can help me with my phone or get my internet connected or something. I think we all kind of like fit in that boat. And it's like, come on, just just press the button right here. It's not that hard.
I know, seriously. Like,
guys,
Google it.
Unplug it and plug it back in again.
There you go.
Don't ever call me.
First do that every time for anything. That'll work.
That's pretty much, unfortunately, it hasn't worked in either of these cases.
Oh, well.
When you call Comcast for customer support, they won't talk to you until you tell them, not that you've already done it, that you are just now unplugging and plugging the modem, cable box, router, you name it, back in again. It's insane.
I love calling them from the line that I have through them. And they're like, oh, you need to reset it. It's like, all right, we're going to disconnect.
Well, you did this, not me. Tim, what nerdy things did you do this week?
I'm kind of like confined to my house at this point. Like, you got to feed the baby every 3 hours, so we can't really go out anywhere. I go out and do an errand. But there's always something playing in the background, and Pitch Perfect 3 has been playing in the background a lot. And they do this cover of Cheap Thrills, and that song hasn't left my brain in a week. Like, there's just this constant loop of like over and over again. I love Cheap Thrills. It's the only plus side is there's this little run that Anna Kendrick does on her little part that's better than the actual song. So I have that in my head too. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But then I go back to, and I'm like, oh, help me.
Can we get a Tim cover of that? Tim from Nerdy Things Pod?
Yeah, at some point we will.
I could cover a song. I don't know if that's my song. Like, if I did that on American Idol, I think they'd be looking at me going, it's not the right song for you, man. Like, not the right song.
Not the right song for you. It's not going to work out. I actually... What did I see this week? Well, we saw the movie that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
I watched Captain America Civil War over again just because I wanted to see it after I saw, Black Panther and all the Spider-Man and all that. And I was like, oh, okay. I still dig it. It's still an interesting watch, and it's a lot of fun seeing superheroes battle against each other. And it's one that's going to be leading up to the biggest movie ever, Infinity War. So if you want to go watch some superhero movies, almost all of them are on Netflix, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Disney streaming service comes.
oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's about it. Been watching anime and stuff, but nobody cares. Let's let's get into it. Like we already said, we're the Nerdy Things podcast, and we talk about the nerdy news of the week for the beginning portion of the episode, and then we get into a main topic. And this week's main topic is the new Tomb Raider movie, so you can still listen if you haven't watched Tomb Raider. We're going to tell you when all the spoilers come up. That's going to be a little bit later on in the episode. But yes, we do nerdy news and then a main topic at the end. Don't forget you can reach us on most social media at Nerdy Things Pod. That's Nerdy Things Pod. And you can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily and links to our merch for shirts and more, links to YouTube to watch the podcast episodes, or Patreon, or our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. You can also leave us an iTunes review. We have some new iTunes reviews. And this one's from Crypto Badger. And he said, "Good stuff for your ears and brain. Very much enjoy these boys, and you will too."
You know what I like about that review?
Short and sweet.
It's a guarantee. It's not like I like this, so you should check it out because you might like it too. No, I like this, so will you, damn it.
There you go.
I like the forcefulness and the conviction, so that's a 10.
See, it wasn't cryptic enough. With the name like Crypto Badger, I expected to be like, spaghetti is purple, and you have to figure out what that means. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe not high marks for me, but
going with the theme of Tomb Raider, you take like the first letter and then you have to crack open a
right
with it. Yeah,
exactly.
There was less mystery in that review there than there was in the Tomb Raider movie. I mean, more mystery in that than there was in the Tomb Raider.
There you go. I'll give you 90 water bottles. Sure. All right, let's go.
I love cheap thrills.
Oh boy.
Nerdy news.
Nerdy news at 6 o'clock.
All right. Usually in the nerdy news, I try to avoid politics, but this week I just have to. So I watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver every Sunday night with my wife. And this week they had a segment about a children's book that John Oliver commissioned called A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundo. Which is based on the rabbit owned by the Vice President Mike Pence's family, because that rabbit is named Marlon Bundo, and Mike Pence has a book that came out Monday by Marlon Bundo entitled A Day in the Life of the Vice President. And, well, John Oliver doesn't like a lot of his policies, and so decided to make a book parodying that rabbit that is the sweetest thing I have ever seen. It is a book that is about a boy rabbit who finds another boy rabbit, and they fall in love and decide to spend the rest of their lives together. And then the evil stink bug, who suspiciously looks just like Mike Pence, tells them that boy rabbits and boy rabbits cannot be together in that way. And it is just amazing. Like, it's an actual children's book with an actual message. It's not, it is tongue in cheek, but it's not something that's too adult for kids. And it was #1 in Amazon on Monday, with Mike Pence's book at #6.
That's pretty wild.
What would make that even better would be that if the Pence character wasn't a stink bug, but was a lightning bug and electrocuted the boy rabbit and the rabbit that tried to be together.
And gave them superpowers, that would be a little bit better. You're right.
Shock therapy. Come on, stick with my metaphor here.
Y'all remember that? There was only like one other book about a rabbit that I remember. It was called Bunnicula. I don't know if anybody else remember that one. It was like about a bunny with red eyes, and he was like.
And to be clear, I am not saying no, I don't remember. I'm saying no one else remembers. I'm pretty sure you made this up.
Okay.
Oh, wait a second. That's the only other book about a rabbit that you remember?
The only other one, yeah.
What other book?
Peter Rabbit that they just made a movie out of. The Velveteen Rabbit.
I remember that. No.
I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 bunny rabbit.
Pretty sure you made those up. Funicula is the only one I remember.
You ever watch Friends? They even talk about the Velveteen Rabbit and Friends.
Right?
But the Marlon Bundo book by John Oliver, he the cool part about it is the audio book and by who it's voiced by. There's a ton of huge voices: Jim Parsons, RuPaul.
Yep.
There's so many more that it's
John Lithgow plays the stink bug.
Yeah.
You got Jesse Tyler Ferguson who plays one of the rabbits. You've got
I'll listen to that. I'll buy it.
Did you say Sheldon from Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, Jim Parsons.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like the cast of characters for the audio version of this book is sold out. You're not going to get this book before April at this point because everyone on earth has bought this book.
See, I would listen to John Oliver read the whole thing himself.
Sure.
That guy, I love listening to that guy talk.
Oh yeah, he is nuts. He is absolutely crazy. But they gave a copy of the book out to everybody in the audience, and you could see him beaming when he's talking about this book. It was written by one of the women that is a writer for the Last Week Tonight show. She is actually the same person that they use the picture of as Janice from Accounting. If you're familiar with the show, she gets the blame for everything. So good for her. It was really
and some either a portion or all of it. All the money is going to go to a charity helping bunnies. I think
it is all of it. It's what is it? The Travis Foundation. But yeah, it's decent. We'll have links in the show notes for it. But good stuff. Really good stuff.
Super funny.
In follow up to that, who sells children's books?
Amazon.
Toys R Us. Right. Exactly. Unfortunately, because of those answers, Toys R Us is closing. All of their North American stores, all of their UK stores, basically everything across the world. There may be deals to sell off individual stores, but this is a portion of childhood that's closing forever.
Oh no. I'll literally go to Walmart. I really don't care. Like why are people caring so much? They're still gonna have Babies R Us. That's the only place that yeah,
right? Damn.
No, I don't. Babies R Us can't be staying open.
It is.
It was.
How?
No, it absolutely, because it's a different.
They're totally different
brand, totally separate.
Do they even have independent stores up around here? All of the Babies R Us's are in Toys R Us's.
I've never seen a Babies R Us.
Been to Salem, New Hampshire, friend. Yeah, they are separate standalone locations. I don't know that I've never been to one where they're the same. I think I
was at 3 of them in the last 3 weeks where they were all inside the Toys R Us.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong then.
That's weird.
But yeah, so the Babies R Us is staying open. Toys R Us is closing. And Jules, to your point, Toys R Us is an experience. I'm speaking to you as someone who literally grew up with this. You used to, and you don't anymore, but you used to go there because it was the only place to get toys if you lived near one. You had to go there to see what action figures there were, what video games there were.
It was an experience.
It was.
Yes. Okay.
Except even then, Toys R Us wasn't the best experience.
No, it was still terrible. But
Child World was the best.
Child World.
That
just sounds like an accident waiting to happen. I'm not.
No, Child World. I mean, Jules. Child World was the best when I was a kid. So Child World existed in 2 incarnations. Up in our area, it was Child World, and then down into New Jersey and a little farther, it was Children's Palace. Same logo. It was, some of them, the early ones were shaped in a castle. But you go in there, 1987, and they had a world of Nintendo. It was step up to the bar for children. It was this big, long bar, and behind it was these little plastic sleeves with all of the game covers, the hundreds of game covers. And they just be like, I want that one. I want that one. It was like Willy Wonka. When they all go to the candy, the guy's back there, over ain't a sunrise, and he's just pulling off the candy. That's what it was like. But around the corner, then was all of the merch, the Mario T-shirt, the Zelda T-shirt, the hats, the gloves, and then 10 CRT TVs hooked up to systems with different games that you could play, test out. It was the balls.
See, I'll go there.
Place to be. Right? Yeah, that's what toy stores were.
This was back before you could Google things. You couldn't see what the game looked like until you went to the store. Most of the time, the games that they were showing on the wall, you were like, what the hell is that? That cover looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And you'd buy it just based on that. You know,
And Toys R Us, to a lesser degree, did the same kind of thing. They always had a few consoles hooked up. Their video game sections were destinations for kids. Like, you'd beg your parents if you were out near a mall or a shopping area, can we go into Toys R Us? Can we go into Child World? And the best idea of any of them was KB. KB Toys was in the mall. They were in the mall. They weren't like, you have to beg your parents to go there. We're already in the mall. Mom, I'm going into that store. And if she wanted to go or not, you're running into the store and she has to come after you. Now, on a side note, somebody owns the name rights to KB Toys, and they officially announced they are exploring plans to open, hopefully by the end of the year. And in a play of altruism, they're hoping to save the 330,000, however many Toys R Us employees are being let go. They're hoping to save their jobs. That's their PR play. But they're saying, send us your resumes now, because the wheels are in motion. So that's an interesting thing, because the KB Toy Store was another awesome part of Kevin and I, anyways, childhood.
Yeah. I mean, I still wander around in there. I mean, it's super brightly lit, and there's so many colors and so many toys, and you can just walk in there and be like, "Whoa, that's super cool." But Toys R Us, it didn't evolve with the times. We were talking about it a little bit on something I posted on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, and it was just like they just didn't want to. And I listened to this entrepreneur, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks about how he wanted to help them with their marketing plan. Whenever he found out, like, he's like, hey, I want to help y'all do something with this, and he was just saying that the CEO or person in charge, he was just like, I don't like your ideas, I don't like what you're thinking about social media, I don't want to do this media creation, and I don't think you're the right person for us. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And he walked away, and he was like, I already knew by then that they were going to go under, because they didn't want to change with what's going on. They, what got you there isn't going to get you there from now on. You know what I mean? They
Adapt
didn't really
or die.
see that.
Well, Jules brought this up on Facebook by posting an article very similar to one that I read the day before that just had me raging. And it's talking about how millennials were responsible for the closing of Toys R Us because they don't marry as young and they don't have as many babies. Whenever I see these articles that are millennials are killing said industry, millennials are killing this industry.
We're killing napkins.
Right? All I see when I read those articles is the details of a demographic study that the companies in question have an inability to leverage to their advantage.
Right.
If millennials don't eat your food, change your menu.
Right.
If millennials don't like the experience of your restaurant, change the look and feel. If they're not going to your stores, increase your online presence, increase your social media presence, increase your shipping distribution center. Take a page from Best Buy. Best Buy shifted 7 or so years ago. They implemented their online price match policy. And what they did was they realized Amazon has this now, but back then Amazon didn't have as many regional warehouses. Best Buy realized, hey, we have a nation of regional warehouses. We don't need to use these just for shipping to stores. We can ship to people's houses this way, and we can get them their products quicker and faster. And they increase their online presence and increase their delivery time. And look, they're the only electronics store that survived. They changed. That's how you do it. Toys R Us just needed to realize they're not having as many babies, but I bet you if you conducted a study, or if you tried to find this study, millennials probably buy more toys. More children's, quote unquote, children's things than any adult generation previously. See pop vinyls.
Yeah.
Toys R Us should have been the king of pop vinyls. Any pop vinyl available should have been a whole wall. There should have been exclusives. They should buy two, get one half off all the time. Buy two, get one free sometimes. Leverage the collectibles market. Leverage the online downloadable video games market. Create the best rewards program in the business and encourage people to buy your download coupons so they don't have to come into your store as much anymore. Close your larger stores, open smaller stores, open some inside malls. These are the things you need to do. This stuff drives me crazy. Don't blame people for your failure. Use that research to leverage the opportunities that they now give you to change your business. It's crazy. Nonsense.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. But, change doesn't always lead to good things, Tim. Like, for example, Uber trying to go to self-driving cars. I mean, that's just led to, 2 accidents now. One were a car accident that ended in a fender bender, one that ended in the death of a pedestrian. So
hold on. Okay, with that death one, there was a safety driver behind the wheel. They keep saying that and they keep noting that. What was he doing? Was he just like reading a book?
I don't know.
Ready Player One, rereading it or what?
Guys, I need a second. You see this? You see what this dog is doing?
Mm-hmm.
This dog is about to shit on my carpet. So I got to quickly walk him.
Kevin, I need to poop.
Keep recording. I'll be right back.
Okay. Keep recording.
Kevin wants to monitor our speech.
Damn freaking millennial blamers.
It's wild. I love it.
It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because one of the biggest ones I see is the restaurant. They're killing casual dining. Why are they killing casual dining? What are you not offering? That's the question you should ask.
There are
what
literally
am I not offering.
Yeah, there's like 30 people right now outside drinking a craft beer at some place for lunch already. Like it's not that, it's maybe your place isn't the destination to go to, or this you're not serving this something or whatever, and it's like there are people doing the thing, it's just not at your place.
It's like I actually think Chili's is doing pretty well. I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Chili's is doing well. But I remember thinking about 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't have you could put any hard cider you want on your menu, but they didn't have Angry Orchard. They didn't have any hard cider. And I'm like, dude, hard cider is one of the hottest drinks on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Like, guys are drinking hard cider. Chicks are drinking hard cider. And you've got a beer menu and a big bar, and you have not a single hard cider, either by bottle or on tap. What's wrong with this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Figure stuff out. Like, what the heck are you doing?
And now it's
not like that's even outside your industry that far.
Right.
That's like right in your industry. Just add it. Go on. It's crazy.
Yeah, all the ones here have them on tap now, I think.
But that's the weird thing. It's funny because from a retail standpoint, it seems like the world is going to big business, Amazon, away from small brick and mortar stores. But when it comes to restaurants, it seems like people want more local feel, local vibe. So if I were a chain restaurant, I would hire someone in an individual territory to procure local beverages. So in this region, I can get these craft beers that are local, or this particular type of food or whatever that's local. I would hire someone in the region to procure food and beverage products that were local and hot in that region. That just seems logical to me. And I just, why didn't I just go to school? Why didn't I finish school and to get a business degree? Right. I have good ideas, but
but you also have ADD.
I don't have a degree. Apparently, you need to go to college to have good ideas.
Yeah, no, you don't. You just have to know great people, and that's how. That's what happens at college a lot of times.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Uber.
What did I say? I said something.
Self-driving.
Oh, car. So yeah, they said the self-drive.
What was the driver doing?
Yeah, what was
Player One?
I laughed at my own joke. Hold on.
Didn't just shit. There's no way Murray shit that fast.
No, I got it. He actually just had to pee. He already shit earlier this morning, but I got him raid trained from back when I used to play WoW. So we run out, he pisses, and he wants to run back in. So
wow, nice.
Yeah. No, he's a good dog.
But really, he was behind the wheel. He could have stopped. That's literally your only job, dude. Like, you're supposed to stop this from happening. That's the one thing a car does.
You have good data, and you can say, well, the car didn't stop. I had to stop it. What went wrong? Yeah, this is not the car's fault. This is not even necessarily the programming's fault. This is the fault of the driver. Like, this is why they're testing it. This is the safety measures they have to take to figure out what went wrong. And, people are people get so caught up in the numbers of all of this. I've heard so many people arguing every side of this, where this one Uber car killed one person, but 6 people are going to hit other pedestrians and kill 6 people today. And it's like, right. But there aren't 6 billion self-driving cars that have killed this one person. There's like 7 of them. So the statistics don't look good.
So,
get better.
I keep hearing like there's other tests where a autonomous car avoided a crash in a way that a human driver couldn't because their response time wasn't quick enough. So what programs their reaction to that incident, but not to a pedestrian crossing? I don't know enough about this.
And this is part of the problem, is that there's so many different companies that think that they can do this better than all the other companies. And so you've got so many different ways of doing this, different camera arrays, different, radar things that can tell you distances. So they're all different hardware. They're all different software. They're all different cars too. So they all react differently.
But then when people talk about it, it's all self-driving cars. It's not this company's self-driving car. So they just lump it all together, Yeah.
Right. It's kind of a bad thing for that.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we not just only relying on Elon Musk for this? Why are we letting other people do it?
No. See, here's I'm of two minds on this, because I really do think that we need a leader. And I think that we do need to put all of our resources into one thing. But competition leads to innovation. You get unique and novel ways to approach something out of this type of way of doing it. But at the same time, I feel like if we all put our heads together and said, listen, we need self-driving cars. Let this be like the seatbelt. Everyone can use the seatbelt. It's free. Let's do the same with self-driving cars. Let's all work together. Let's pool our resources. Let's make self-driving cars. And then once we've perfected that, we can work on the niche things. That, I think, would be the best way to do it.
I love cheap thrills.
Yeah, I just, all I want to do is just be able to get on the highway and just chill like that. Once I get to that point, I'm fine. I don't care if you self-drive the whole time. Just self-drive me on the highway, because I hate it.
I mean, honestly, like that's kind of the cool thing, is they've done research and shown that even if like just 10% of cars are self-driving, it's going to eliminate so much traffic, because even if you take out one of the 10 people on the highway that you see that is going so slow, you will have a much better commute.
Or going slow for the freaking accident on the other side of the road.
Right.
That's nowhere near you because they want to see what's going on. It's like, no.
Or you're doing 65 in the third lane and you pass a cop and drop to 40. Thanks, buddy. Just drive normal. Act like a normal human person and you'll be okay.
And in case you missed it, for patrons, we have Kevin's car accident on the patron feed for everyone on Patreon. So nerdythingspod.com, click the Patreon, and you'll see it there. But
speaking of that, Jules needs to take an Uber everywhere, because I got rear-ended this week while sitting at a stoplight.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
These kind of my house. Threes. We've got 3 hosts. There's 1 guy left.
Oh
I
man.
couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there with Kristen, just talking, and all of a sudden I get bumped from behind. I mean, it wasn't that bad. There was like the imprint of the license plate screw on my bumper, but really no damage. And I didn't want to be a jerk about it. I took her information, but I didn't do anything about it. But I'm thinking, as it happened, I looked at Chris and I said, "Are you kidding me? How is this possible that the 2 of us have this?"
That's literally what Kevin said. Are you fucking kidding me?
I wasn't even going to do anything about it either, because it's minor cosmetic damage on my car. But then she submitted a report to her insurance company, and I was like, fine. Fuck it. Now I get $600 coming my way.
Nice.
So I don't even think I'm going to get it fixed. I think I'm just going to pocket that money.
Oh gosh, I'm going to die.
No, Jules, probably. I'm just waiting for a car to Kool-Aid Man through the wall behind you and just hit
the brake.
Gently. But
oh my God.
I got hit through a wall once. I got hit. There was a car that smashed into a wall that I was on the other side of, and it knocked me down. I was at work, and this woman was backing up to our loading dock to pick up a dresser, and her foot got stuck under the accelerator.
What the hell?
Into it, knocked a dresser into me and knocked me on the ground with a dresser on top of me.
Oh,
wow. It was
wow.
a lot of fun. That was amazing. She was not apologetic either.
My foot got, is it like, yeah, my foot got stuck.
Yeah.
Give me my dresser.
Meanwhile, I'm laying on the ground and people are swarming around me and she's trying to explain it off. I'm like, maybe we're going to call the cops on this one.
Wow. I hate like unapologetic people. I also hate Rick and Morty fans. Yeah. Are we still done with Mick and Rory? Oh,
Mick and Rory, yes.
Rick and Morty. I hate the
clear.
fans.
I like Mick and Rory from the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think like Mick.
I thought you were going to say Mick and Rory from Doctor Who.
No, I hate them.
Okay.
So no, Rick and Morty. Yeah, go on, Jules. You hate their fans because.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous! Like the fan base just had me just hate the show, and that really sucks. And there's like a lot of things like that where the fan base is worse than the show and all that stuff. And the Szechuan sauce, it came out in mass production now, so everybody's fine. And now people are going crazy because there hasn't been a renewal for season 4 of Rick and Morty. What are you worried about that? Are they just waiting? Have they just not said anything? What do you think's going on there?
I think there's more to this because they're going to renew it if it wants to be renewed. This is not a show that they're just going to let die. This is a super popular, very good show. But I think that Dan Harmon, the creator of the show, has problems. I think that this is probably him.
Yeah.
Like I think he doesn't know he does. Yeah, if you watch the end credits or the teaser, whatever it is, the card at the end, you basically see him go through a divorce over the seasons. And he's just not in a good place. And even if he is, he's just having trouble going through and writing some of the stuff for it. So it'll be what it is.
I think he also like admitted to harassment at work or something of his employees or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I read something about that.
You said that because I was just going to say, is this going to be like Louis C.K.? Remember when he took so long off of his show because he's like, I don't want to come out with the new season if I don't think it's worthy. I'm like, same thing Louis C.K. has done, but I didn't mean that. It's not what I was.
Well, it works that way too.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't at this point? I mean, honestly.
True that.
Nerdy boys are clean.
That's right.
Clean ass podcast. That's our new phrase.
Oh, God.
I sense a new shirt coming.
Clean ass podcast.
I haven't heard a lot of harassment allegations against the cast of the Avengers.
No.
So I think they're mostly clean at the very least.
That's a good point.
I mean, the upcoming Avengers Infinity War is probably the most anticipated movie of my life.
Whoa, that's a good phrase.
I mean, honestly.
This is a joke that's going on 2 weeks now. I like this.
But yeah, the new trailer came out Friday and it is amazing.
It looks fantastic.
It looks too big. I don't know how they're going to fit this all into a 2.5-hour movie.
So, I watched Civil War recently, and when I saw like the actual time frame of the whole movie, I was like, oh shit, this was a 2.5-hour movie. I forgot it was this long. And then while I was watching it, it never really felt that way. And the pacing was pretty good in Civil War. I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. And this was like, they gave enough time for some people's stuff, and they kind of broke it down to little groups like we've talked about before, where it's like you put these characters into different little groups and hilarity ensues and all that stuff. But I feel they can do it. I don't know.
Oh, I agree.
I'm optimistic.
I think they definitely can. And we do see in the trailer that you have different groupings of people, and even sometimes at different times. You've got Doctor Strange, Wong, Bruce Banner, and Tony Stark, and in the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is, I think, going to be its own like awesome thing. Separate from that, you've got Spider-Man on the bus with his friends, so you're going to get them. You got just everybody, like the Guardians show up, and the interaction between the Guardians of the Galaxy and Tony Stark looks spectacular.
Oh man, Yes.
And I think they're
Star-Lord and
intentionally
Iron Man.
cutting this trailer to make it look different. I mean, they always do, but they're cutting this to make it look like there are other interactions than there are. So I do think we are going to see separate stories and then a big culmination at the end where we don't have to focus on specific people so much. I read something that this is going to be more Thor, Thanos heavy than anything else. So I can get behind that.
The thing with this trailer, it looked amazing. The movie looks amazing. I'm still super excited about it, but I'm so excited about it at this point, and I've seen such great trailers. Why'd you have to give me a new trailer this long and tell me more about the story?
This is I
was already sold. I don't know anybody on the planet who has even a fringe interest in this that's not sold. You didn't need to give me more of the story at this point. I would have liked to discover some of that when watching the film.
Yeah, but we're reaching the territory where these are no longer trailers and commercials for us. These are trailers and commercials for people who have no idea what this is. So they're trying to pique the interest by giving away more details than someone like us wants, but details that someone else who hasn't seen these would need. So
but that's what I mean. Like,
edge.
Even people on the fringe for a movie like this, especially following Black Panther, even the people on the fringe are already sold. Like, you don't need to give more away.
No, that's true, because the advanced ticket sales are shattering records. They're 257% higher than Black Panther's ticket sales, 751% higher than the Civil War pre-ticket sales in the same amount of time.
It's the most anticipated movie of people's lifetimes.
It really is. I mean,
I already got my ticket. So what does that say? I never do that. So.
Oh yeah, no, I got 2 tickets for the Saturday after it opens. I'm going right up there. It's going to be amazing.
Ooh, I'm going Thursday.
Movie pass in this thing, like the day. not good.
Movie pass on Friday. Yeah.
No, I don't think you're going to do it, dude. I mean, try, but no.
But what I was it came out with a poster as well. I think during that same day or a couple days after, they came out with the Infinity War poster, a new one. And what I was telling a friend of mine at work, this only helps the idea that Captain America is going to die for me. Yeah. This shows a ton of Captain America. It shows him in the iconic moment, the comic book moment of him facing Thor alone, or not Thor, Thanos. Thanos alone with the gauntlet, and he's kind of holding his own a little bit, and even Thanos gives him kind of a look, and it's like, what? But then they also showed a lot of Spider-Man. They showed way too much Spider-Man.
Way too much Spider-Man.
In this,
any Spider-Man is way too much Spider-Man.
Yes, which also goes to our theory that Spider-Man is going to be, the next one up. He's going to be the next leader in this, I think. So they're definitely, foreshadowing for me, what I took from the trailer, that Captain America is going to die. Some heroic moment, huge heroic moment. Something else is going to happen to where Peter Parker now is the leader at 15, 16 years old.
He's the flagship property. Spider-Man is, without argument, the most popular Marvel character. So it does make sense. He's young enough that he's going to be an actor that they can ride for years and years through phase 7 or 8. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I see no downside to that. I think he's
at this point,
except Tom Holland. That's the only.
But that's
at this point, I don't think that Spider-Man is their most popular character.
I mean, I'm not just talking the movies. I'm talking in general. He is the one that makes them the most money.
15 years ago, but now because of these movies, there's so much more awareness around these other characters. I don't think he's the most popular character.
What you think it or not doesn't matter. The toys are there, the sales are there, the comic books are there. It's
Tobey Maguire's there.
Tobey Maguire's not there.
Oh, jeez.
Who are you thinking?
Oh God!
You can only play 10 seconds. We're gonna have to pay them. Oh no! You're gonna have to pay rights to Pitch Perfect 3.
No, hold on. How long did I go? No, less. That was 9 seconds.
That's fine. So, I mean, you can even see it in Disney has recently announced that they're going to be opening superhero themed parks at 3 of their locations, everywhere except for Disney World, because why not? But in Disney World, they can't. They have an agreement with Universal that supersedes it, so they don't have the rights to superheroes east of the Mississippi. But I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what it is.
I know. I read the article, and that was the thing that stuck out. I honestly couldn't tell you another thing about the rules, except for the fact that I don't think I've ever actually heard someone in real life, not in a joking way, use the term east of the Mississippi.
It sounds like I should say it in like that old-timey prospector voice. Yeah. Oh, east of the Mississippi. Oh. So
we got the best dark cola east of the Mississippi.
But if you look at the posters for it, the one for Disneyland California, Spider-Man features prominently front and center, and he's actually wearing a new suit. So this is opening in 2020. There's speculation that this is his Infinity War Part 2 suit after the Iron Spider suit gets destroyed or something in this. So I mean, that'd be kind of neat. But you got Tony Stark in one, you got Wasp and Ant-Man in the other, and there's background characters, Black Panther, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What we don't see in any of these is Hawkeye. Hawkeye he's gone.
You know what what's his name? Jeremy Renner. I saw him on a sponsored tweet promoting another movie that he's in that's coming out in April. Yeah. And I was like, what's going on?
Yep. John Hamm. It's a game of tag. They have made tag into a movie.
Yes. No.
This is based on a true story.
Yeah.
No, this is actually based on a true story. And I'm fairly certain I read this on Reddit like a year and a half ago. There is a group of guys that has been playing tag for the last like 20 years. And they don't live near each other. They live across the country, but every once in a while, one of them will just sneak across the country and tag one of the others and then leave.
That's wild.
So I am looking forward to this movie, especially Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, and so there were several others in it. I don't have it up in front of me, but I think that could be neat.
Can we play a giant game of tag with us three and then our listeners as well? That would be cool.
Forget the organized Smash Brothers tournaments.
Yeah, we're playing tag.
Game of tag.
That's, you know what? I'm in 100%.
So these tag boys, one of them is handsome enough to be played by John Hamm.
No, but they're taking some.
Okay.
But yeah, what was it? Iron Man's gonna be in Paris, I think, and then Ant-Man and Wasp is gonna be in Hong Kong. I think that's what it was, right? For the things or whatever, the hero lands, superhero lands and stuff. That's pretty cool. I mean, I would love to see what that means, what a superhero land is, and I want to, adventure there. And who cares if it's Spider-Man? I'll be okay with that. As long as I have like a little corner for Tobey Maguire, I'm totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah, spoiler alert, they won't, but that's okay. Oh God.
Y'all are really hyped about my Tobey Maguire obsession, but it's okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people are hyped though for this Lord of the Rings series that could maybe be a good thing. Yeah.
I mean, especially Amazon's willing to sink $500 million into 2 seasons of this show.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But I mean, when you think of it like this, they'd be willing to spend $250 million on a Lord of the Rings movie, a single movie. So this is going to be, at least an 8-episode run. So we're talking 8 hours of movie twice.
But
so why not?
How will they get their money back?
Through
my question.
But this is the thing, is they're not necessarily looking for a 1-to-1 conversion on this. They're looking to say, do people want this? Would this be even a minor reason, or would this contribute to people getting Amazon Prime? If the answer is slightly yes, then yes, they'll do it.
Do we have any idea how many episodes per season?
I don't know that we do.
I don't know if that's the problem. I think they should at least have 1 season out before they make a 2-season commitment.
But
don't you think? Isn't that how
I think? But I think the story would be spread over the 2 seasons. So I think it's a commitment to a story. I think they're not just going to be like, we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger.
Right.
They have the money to try this. If it doesn't work.
And that's how they do with Netflix too. And we've discussed this is why Netflix has been so successful. They make a show and they make the run, at least the initial run that they want to. there's no risk of being canceled 3 episodes in like there is with a network TV show. And so it allows people to build to the point where the show is good enough. But the reason why I asked the episode question is Game of Thrones right now is working on a 15 million per episode budget.
Right.
Their 6 episode final season is costing them 90 million.
Right.
So if we're doing 12 episodes per season, it's not that far off. You know what I mean? It's in the realm of what some other big budget TV shows.
You think, because 250 of that 500 million is them just acquiring the rights to this in the first place.
Yeah, right. Of course.
So it's just 250 million for 2 seasons.
Okay.
I mean, it's just 250 million. I mean, really, this is nothing now.
Yeah, let's get a show on Amazon. It's that easy.
But that's what I mean. It's not that far off, so this isn't shocking to me.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll watch it. What did I see that I told you, Kevin? I saw Star Trek Discovery, the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and that looks beautiful.
There's apparently, are you doing the month free? Is that what you're?
I did a thing. I'm not going to mention it here.
So it must be what I'm talking about then, Jules. You can get a month free of CBS on demand or whatever the hell they call it. I don't know how. You can Google it. There's a code, but it's free until March 25th. So you can watch the first season of Discovery on demand without having to pirate it or anything like that, which is wrong. So
yeah, I was not talking about pirating.
So,
500 million. It going from 500 million to a little bit smaller, $500,000. I think was it 500,000 that Ninja admitted that he makes per month as a Twitch streamer? 500,000
a month
for Twitch streaming, and people are saying that he could get a lot more than that. That he's actually not doing it the best way, but it's okay because he doesn't have like really any sponsors or anything, but he's just getting it from Twitch subscribers and all that stuff. But this week, Ninja, who is a very popular Twitch streamer with the bluest hair on a boy I've ever seen, he played a ton of games of Fortnite with the rapper Drake. And then they played duos for a while on Fortnite, and then Drake was like, yo, let me get my friend Travis Scott in this game. And I was there at 1 a.m. when I had to do something super early the next day, just watching Ninja, Drake, and Travis Scott play Fortnite. And it was ridiculous. The entire Twitterverse just went crazy. Drake and Travis Scott are rappers.
I know,
very popular rappers. I know, but not everybody might know.
Drake's a tool.
Drake is amazing. He's the nicest guy, I'm sure. Watching him play Fortnite, it only reinforced that. What's up?
When he was Jimmy in the wheelchair in that Canadian TV show, Degrassi, that was when he was at his peak. It's all been downhill since then.
Hashtag God's plan. No, he's at his peak right now. But okay, so this brings up a whole lot that I wanted to talk about, because this is Fortnite gaming culture crossing over with the quote unquote mainstream. I mean, Ninja was on CNBC, I think, talking about how much he makes, talking about what, Ninja is a really nice guy, and we have a really good gaming advocate out there right now in him, as long as he doesn't get into trouble. But he was like, yeah, we donate a lot of our money to charity, and this really helped me overcome a whole lot of stuff because I was a real introvert and all this stuff. And it was like, wow, this kid's really nice. But this is pop culture getting into gaming. And where do you see, is this a good thing for, just regular gamers, for regular streamers? Because now there's a whole big spotlight on Twitch now, because 630,000 people, which is the biggest amount of people for any one stream ever, that's not like tournament based, that's ever happened on Twitch. And now there's a huge spotlight. Is this good for gaming and Twitch, or is this bad? It's gonna bring a lot of unwanted attention.
Well, it was Drake. If it wasn't Drake, if it was, let's say, someone else, then it might have been a bigger boon to be a old timer, use that word.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I think that what we see a lot of times in stuff like this with Twitch and whatever other websites that do different things like Twitch has done is once they reach a level of popularity, they suddenly start to like become other things. And I'm afraid that we're going to lose what makes Twitch unique from it. You know, it is sort of an under the radar, like, you know, stepchild
niche
type of
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I think that by having some of that spotlight, we may see that the people who own Twitch are suddenly like, well, I bet we can make more money if we start doing scripted streaming TV shows and things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
But the people who own Twitch are Amazon, right?
Oh, is it Jeff Bezos? Yeah, it is. But that's
they do scripted TV shows. It's on Amazon Prime. They spent $500 million on them.
But now that they have a spotlight on Twitch, I feel like they may use that as a vehicle to get to onboard other people into what they do otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, they promote Twitch fairly heavily. Like the wrappers, you know, the seals that are on Amazon boxes say Twitch now.
Yeah,
on a lot of them. I mean, you'll see it when you go to Amazon.com, a little ad for it. So I think they're trying to get there. I just think esports needs a big advocate somewhere, and I don't know that Drake is the guy. I think that's like
I don't. Yeah,
it's not like if Will Smith. Let's just throw this out there.
Sure.
If this happened yesterday and it were Will Smith instead of Drake, this would be such a bigger story.
But no, it was a huge story because Drake is the guy right now. It would be bigger, but so far, this is the largest stream ever.
Right.
I surpassed it by hundreds of thousands of people.
But there's also 8/10 of the world that don't care about Drake, and there's 7/10 who hate. Well, I don't know. There's a smaller faction, but the people who are aware of him, there's a large faction that hates him.
I literally hate Fortnite, and I watched it for like 3 hours. And that was the most Fortnite I've ever watched, ever played. But I think they have it in this kid Ninja. I mean, I'm putting my money on Ninja. He just seems like a pretty cool guy. He's just happy with that he gets to do this for a living. He gets to play games, and he's wicked good. He used to play Halo professionally, and now he's doing like Fortnite, doing whatever streams, but it's like he's insane.
He's a decent guy. He really does. And
phrases like that make me laugh. He used to play Halo professionally.
He did. Yeah. Hey, listen, if you make $500,000 a month, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's just phrases like that make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody had told me when I was a kid that somebody would say, you know, you played Super Smash Brothers professionally.
That he used.
I'm declaring it now. We are going to play Super Smash Brothers professionally.
Oh,
we're gonna make it an esport. We're gonna be the biggest advocates for it. It's gonna be amazing. There we go.
Just one last my thought on the Twitch thing. I think it does kind of give some unwanted attention because now we saw in this past week Logan Paul on the brink of his, you know, YouTube unsuccess, that they won't let him have ads, they won't let him on all this stuff. He actually made a Twitch account, and he already has 10,000 plus subs or followers or whatever. So we could see more Logan Paul on Twitch, guys. So don't watch that content.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I love cheap thrills.
Oh God,
that's the end of the stuff. But what are y'all's thoughts on Twitch and Drake playing? Did y'all watch it? Let us know at Nerdy Things Pod. And anything in the news, if you want to talk to us about it, you can do that there as well. Nerdy Things Pod on Twitter, Instagram. You can search Nerdy Things Pod on Facebook as well.
Perfect.
Now let's talk about this shitty movie.
Time for the main topic. So the main topic this week is Tomb Raider. Yes,
guys, this is crazy. We just said the main topic. My watch buzzed, and it's an alert from Twitter that says Nerdy Things Podcast and 2 more are tweeting about Tomb Raider.
Nice.
Whoa.
Wow. How wild is that?
So yeah, we made Jules and Tim watch Tomb Raider this week.
You didn't watch it, Kevin?
I watched it. No.
Okay. I was about to be very mad because I had to watch that shit.
I went out and saw it actually Thursday night with the night it opened. So I
did you have a hard time getting a seat?
No. No. In fact, they were cleaning the carpets at work because there were 7 people in the theater, so they could.
Oof.
There were no lines, no waiting, no popcorn, nothing. But yeah, I mean, I read all these articles last week that Tomb Raider was going to rock the box office and knock Black Panther out of number 1. No. I mean, on Friday, it beat Black Panther barely. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, no chance. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, I do think that as far as movies based on video games go, this was very likely to be one of the better ones out there.
Sure. And that's definitely something I wanted to touch on, just movies based on video games in general, because generally they're really shitty and they're not very good. They're not done well. There's something lost between the transition of you playing the video game to the big screen. And I think this movie actually does probably one of the better jobs, probably the best job of adapting it to a different medium for you not being able to play. If people don't know, this movie is based off the new reboot of the franchise Tomb Raider using it's more realistic, more gritty. It's a little different than the old triangle boobs used to play back in the day on the PlayStation. And it's a little different from the Angelina Jolie rendition of the movies. But this is based off the video game. The story is almost identical to the video game. So if you've already played it, if you've just played the Tomb Raider first video game, then I don't think the movie's necessarily for you right now, because it's kind of like a watered down version and you don't get to play it. But that's kind of where we're at. I don't know if we want to give like just some basic non-spoiler thoughts before we get into it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looked to me just like the PlayStation game. Like from all the trailers, from everything, I think they did a wonderful job with that. I felt like I knew enough of the story to be intrigued from the trailers going into this. I think that the actor that they had, what's her name there?
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, I thought it was Daniel Craig, but Alicia, I think she was perfect for the role. I feel like the movie being based on the PlayStation 4 game did a wonderful job casting her for this. I think action was good. I think the story was great. But all in all, I think it was adequately shot. Jules, what are your thoughts on this?
I did not like it at all. I really disliked this movie. It was just, the pacing was a little off pretty much the whole time, I think, where they would give us these sort of action sequences, and then like it would super pull back whenever she would do a puzzle or something like that. And while they try to make it still super actiony with the puzzle stuff, where the music was still thriving and it was like still kind of pushing, it's still only her doing a puzzle, when just last scene she was being shot at, you know what I mean? And it was just super like a little weird with that. They gave too much exposition at the beginning when they give us exposition later, and it was just like whatever. All in all, I don't know if I can recommend this movie, or if I want to recommend this movie. I don't want to get too into it yet, but for me, I was not feeling it.
This was an adequate action movie.
Yeah.
But action movies tend to be not the best movies. So if it's in the middle of the pack of action movies, that's not giving it high praise.
No.
I'll get into why later.
Yeah.
But if you're like an action movie fan and you see all action movies, well, then go see this. But if you're not, it's probably a miss or a red box or something of that nature.
Cool. So do we recommend it? I say no.
I say yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
you are.
Yeah. I say yeah, because it's an adequate action movie. Because if we get people to see this movie, if it makes enough money, we may get better video game to movie adaptation.
That shouldn't be a reason, though.
No,
let's go watch the shitty movie because we want better.
See a shitty movie. I think it's an adequate movie.
Okay.
I think that the story, there were problems with it, which we'll get into, but I think that it was a good enough movie that if you have nothing else to do and nothing you want to see better, I think you should go see it.
Sure.
So we're definitely I think we're in a point now where people have lost all faith in video game movies, because we just said this was one of the better ones, I guess. This movie made 23.4 million domestically. The original Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, almost 18 years ago, 17 years ago, made 47.
On
Adjust
opening
that for inflation, that's probably like a $90 million opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it crushed this one. But since then, including that movie, there have been bad video game movie after bad video game movie after bad video game movie. And now people are just like, what? No. No, thank you. I'm all set.
I mean, honestly, I think
more you too.
I think the only thing that could come close to, or would maybe be a better video game to movie adaptation, would be something like Resident Evil, at least in spirit, or Silent Hill, which again, both of those are adequate to good movies based on video games. They're
on the better spectrum.
And it's like Hitman, no. We got House of the Dead, no. You got horrible. Max Payne, Blood Rain, Double Dragon, Super Mario Brothers. Just no.
Super Mario Brothers, though.
Don't say anything bad about the Super Mario Brothers movie. You know how many Oscar winners are in that movie?
With Freddie Prinze Jr. No.
Don't say that. We want to get him on the pod. He's gonna listen to this. He listens to the show.
Don't badmouth Freddie.
I'm not badmouth Freddie, but Freddie was not in a good movie with that one.
Just saying this movie sucked.
Which is a terrible movie.
Which
Wing
one?
Commander from '99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And even Warcraft from 2016. Like that was one that should have been better because it was, good director, had some big name actors in it, and just completely missed the mark. So,
So where do you think we're going with the video game movies if this one was the latest video game movie? Do you think I don't want to say yet, but do you think there's going to be more, people dipping their toes into this, or, there might be an Uncharted movie coming out?
Yeah. But here's the thing is video games now, and this is super frustrating to me, but the popular video games now are all just movies anyway.
Sure.
Like they're just, here's a bunch of cutscenes, and then here's one scene where you get to play, but you only have to do it one specific way. And then when you're done, we get another 5-minute cutscene. Sure. I know people love The Last of Us.
That's one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just don't get it. I've never played it. I installed it the other day. I started playing, and I'm an hour and a half into the game, and I've played for maybe 10 minutes total. So that's not for me. But something like that can make for a really good movie. I mean, if the story is already compelling in the game, then you should be able to translate that into a movie. The problem comes when you have people, directors and producers, who are not familiar with why it's popular, who try to translate it, and they take the wrong elements from it, which I think we see a lot of times with this type of thing.
Yeah, see, that's the problem that I see, though, is I don't think you should try and take the story from a singular video game and translate it to screen. You should take the characters and the story elements that people like about it and create an original, because video games aren't movies. It's just, they're not two and the same. The things don't translate. Clearly, we know this. So you need to create a story. Forget that do the thing that Marvel does. Forget that it's a video game movie. Forget that it's a comic movie.
Right.
You want to just make a really good movie that incorporates the characters and plot elements that people like about the original concept. This is why I think, and I know I'm almost sure that Nintendo will never do it, but Zelda is the perfect franchise to turn into a movie, because you have many, many different timelines, many different plot elements, but you have this really diverse culture to draw from. So you don't have to make a singular video game into a story. You can just make this really good story that involves all of these really specific background elements and characters. and it would be awesome because there is a wealth of things to draw upon. That's what you need to do to make a good video game movie.
Then it would be on the director and the writer to make a decent story.
Right.
So that's what they're that's what they're there for, though. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, get somebody who's talented, like Marvel's done, who is a great storyteller, and do that. That's the formula for success. We've seen this time and time again with all kinds of different things. That's the formula for success. So
it is.
the video game franchise just needs to do that.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we even see that in other things, like when they took the Stargate movie and made that into a TV show. They took the characters, they took the premise, but that was about it. They let go of the story. And I think that was a fantastic show. I think you've hit it, Tim. I think you've nailed it on the head.
Let's get into spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen Tomb Raider, it's okay. You can stop right now. nerdythingspod.com. You can visit us and all that stuff. nerdythingspod@gmail.com if you want to email us, because we still get emails and all that stuff. We're here every week, every Thursday. Okay. Tomb Raider. I want to read some tweets from people that tweeted about the movie, and we can talk about it. So at Vampire Goddess 8 says, I know I'm probably too late to answer, but I loved it. Downsides: 1, Laura's breathing during the action scenes seemed exaggerated. Maybe I'm used to games where it isn't as realistic. 2, would have been nice to see woman on the island. 3, showed too many flashbacks of Laura and her father. Any thoughts on that one? Her breathing was kind of weird in that, but I don't think it was jarring.
I don't think I was like noticed that.
And it was a little, I don't know how to say it.
Well, Alicia Vikander, is that her name?
Yeah.
You need to work on your breathing.
At Look Film Review says, a right clunker of a film, adventure by numbers. That's a good one. At Silver Screen Show said, for a video game adaptation, pretty damn good. Loved the jungle scenes. The jungle scenes were pretty nice.
Yeah.
At Film for Emotion said, cliched action film, but super fun and true to the game. Was constantly pointed out elements of the game they'd recreated in the film. Also love Alicia Vikander. So yeah, if you know the game and you really love the game or whatever, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just you're not playing it and you're not getting that fun stuff. Yep. So I don't know. Dave Holland 88 said good and enjoyable. Let's see. At Launching T Pilot said, I thought it was fine and did capture the game experience mostly. And this one, Jenny L. Howie? Kevin's wife said, I was incredibly underwhelmed. I wanted more actual tomb rating. They didn't rate a whole lot of tombs.
They rated her dad's tomb. They rated the other tomb. That was it.
That's about it. There was she was getting to the tomb rating. She's not. She
should have been called Two Tombs,
but it wasn't called Tombs Raider. It's fine.
Okay.
They even exceeded expectations from the title. That's fantastic.
Right? Exactly right.
Tell Jenny I don't know what she was expecting. They only promised one tomb. We got 2.
And one last one, at Disagreeable Nerd said, I was bored. The actors were fine, but the pacing was boring. Lara Croft was so serious most of the time, and we didn't need the beginning exposition when we get it later from her father. Don't know if that's writing or editing. Either way, meh, smiley face. So thank y'all for tweeting us and telling us your opinions on the Tomb Raider movie. So yeah, there was just overlapping knowledge. It just kind of drilled it in your head about different things, and it was just like, we already heard this, man. Come on, didn't you know? You should know already. We already know this stuff. But it was just a lot of overlapping knowledge, especially right from the beginning. They tell you this whole thing, and then later on in the movie they explain it again and again. I'm like, God, okay, man.
So I actually
want to make sure you're paying attention. In case
I pulled the dash cam footage from my car on the ride home with me and Jenny talking about this movie. I am going to put it up on Patreon for anybody to listen to, because we just ripped that movie apart.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to repeat most of it here because I don't remember most of it, but that'll be a bonus for everybody. The short of it is, I do think that the beginning could have been a hell of a lot different and a hell of a lot better. I don't think we needed her as a bike courier. I think we could have done literally anything else. she lost every fight she was in. And so I didn't find her believable as a fighter.
It was a lot of her getting her ass kicked.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that whole opening scene, that whole, setup for her character, it just seems so slow, and it just seems so, I don't know, really weird. I get that this is going to be an origin story because at the end we see her with the 2 guns that you know about her. That's what she has, but this is, sort of the beginning stuff. But it was just super slow, and I just didn't care. Why should I care about this girl that got her ass beat? That's supposed to be the Tomb Raider.
Right.
That's supposed to be my protagonist.
That's the key, though, right there, Jules. Why do we care about her?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's two ways that you can go about this movie. You can do the cartoony, like, I'm super physical and I can do things that normal people can't do, and that's why I'm this kind of superhero-esque character, which is what comic book movies normally do. It's not comic book movies, video game movies.
She sort of does with her amazing jump.
Well, what she does is what's typical action movie things. She hangs from cliffs that she's not supposed to be able to hang from. That's my biggest pet peeve in action movies. Okay, I will buy that there's a fairy in a movie. I will buy that there's a wizard in a movie. I will buy that there's a dragon in a movie. I suspend belief when I go into films. What I don't buy is that somebody can do something when you're trying to make a movie realistic, that your character can do things that I know are just physically impossible. And in action movies, it always comes down to someone hanging on a cliff that they can never actually hang on. It's always the thing. Yep. It's never failed. Go see an action movie. What's going to happen? They're going to hang from 3 fingers and hold up their body weight. And you can never really do it. Listen, I've done indoor rock climbing.
It's adrenaline.
When I used to be in shape, I did indoor rock climbing. When you do that kind of stuff for a couple of hours, you leave and you want to go play golf the next day, you can't grip the golf club properly. Your hands get so tired. To scale a mountain the way she did, just kind of climbing with the axe, that's baloney. That is one of the hardest physical skills on the planet. Hanging from the damn airplane, all that stuff, baloney. So that's what, she didn't have superpowers. She just did the typical action movie thing. So you either need to have the Angelina Jolie, like I can jump really far, punch really hard, do that. Or you go what they tried to do, the complete opposite, because this is a gritty, realistic take on Tomb Raider, like the video game. So I didn't realize exactly what they were doing until the end, which is where the problem lies. She kept getting her ass beat. We start with her getting her ass kicked in the ring in a controlled environment, then on the bike, and then in succession against other foes in real life, until we get to the end and she fights that guy and completes some of the moves that she's been working on, the holds. No, but this, Kevin's making a reaction like, oh, it's crazy. This is the arc. What they've established with that very first scene is that she's not an exceptional person, but she has so much fight, and that through perseverance she equips herself with the skills that allows herself to become a better fighter, and that will make her better in the next movie. The problem is that's the Rocky story, you know what I mean? But you have to care about the character to want to travel through the journey. So by the time I realized that this is what they had established, it was the end of the movie, and I didn't care about her getting her ass kicked 16 times before. So this is bad storytelling. That's the problem with the movie.
My problem isn't that she got her ass kicked and then she used those moves. That's fine. My problem was how they went about it. She got her ass kicked because she's just an idiot in the boxing ring. And then she was like a spoiled child with the other girl after that. And then she got her ass kicked because she rode into a cop car, which is another stupid thing to have done. Every move she made, it wasn't that she was getting better, and it wasn't even that it was showing us that she was tough, which it should have been. It should have been showing us that she was tough, like you said.
Well, the fact she didn't tap out, they try and do it in obvious ways.
Yeah,
but that was over the top, and that wasn't tough.
Right.
That was that she had lack of oxygen and couldn't think straight. I'm like, really, that was not how I interpreted it. And I know what you're saying. I know that that's what they were going for. But at the same time,
I agree with you, Kevin. It's bad storytelling.
To pass out. So I do think that there are better ways they could have done it. And especially like
100%.
Her dad is an archaeologist. She has training as an archaeologist. Like, I'm not saying that that makes her better or a better fighter or any of this. But at the same time, it would have made more sense for her to be the Indiana Jones trope than to be spoiled rich kid who can suddenly jump and put her climbing axe through a solid cobblestone, not in between the cracks, but actually through the stone to pull herself up.
And hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my point, is they tried to create this story arc and failed at every step to make it meaningful and realistic. They also tried to establish Lara Croft is super smart. That's one of her attributes, right? She's kind of like a genius, puzzle solver.
And they did that at the very beginning with
one easy way. They have her solve the puzzle really quickly. That's it. You know, they don't spend the appropriate time establishing these characteristics and making us invest in the character, so we don't care. We don't care about her growth as a person, as
no. And the puzzles they had her solve made no sense. Like, I like a movie like this where the puzzle, all of a sudden, the character is like, oh, wait, this means this. And then the audience is like, oh, wow, like that turns the whole thing on its side. Or even if they're just vocalizing their thought process for it. Like, we saw her solve the cryptex when she was on the boat with Lou Rang there, whatever his name is. And they had a larger cryptex on the island, but I don't know that the two were in any way related. They looked similar, symbols, but they never made that connection for us.
No.
She was never like, oh, the smaller one, the answer was such and such. The bigger one, the answer is going to be blah, 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 because of the story of this island.
No, and they didn't explain anything so that they couldn't, you know, the audience could be in on it and they could try and figure it out as well. The only time that we saw that was with the key and the little riddle right at the beginning when she unlocks the key, and it's like at the first letter.
The first letter of my last destination.
Yeah.
And that was not the first letter. That was the 8th letter. The first letter was like T at the top or something.
Sure.
You can't put it in his name arbitrarily. There were other letters that were before that letter, Lara. You're terrible at this.
So I think that was the only time that we were in on the actual like puzzle solving, and otherwise we just kind of saw her working it out and trying to figure it out. So I think during the video game you would actually have that puzzle to solve, but you know, as a movie, it didn't. I don't know if it adapted that part. But
that was one thing that didn't make sense. Other than that, there was so much dialogue and so many plot points in this that did not make sense.
And that was unnecessary.
You got Walton Goggins, the bad guy, who one of the first things he says to her when she wakes up is, I have been trapped here for 7 years without anyone else to talk to except for the person on the other side of this phone. And it's like, wow, that's like, he must be trapped here with people who don't speak English. He must be like that someone has left him, or he can't leave the island or whatever. But no, he had an army of guys that spoke English. Most of his prisoners spoke English in some way. And he had the phone. There's no way that only connected to one person. He could have called anybody, even if it was a 900 number. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
So when he first said that, I saw a person move outside the window, and I actually thought for a second that maybe that was a production mistake and it was a crew member because he's the only person there, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, is that like a crew member? And then I hear more going on outside, and then all of a sudden there's like 1,000 people out there, and I go, he's really bad socially. He's got massive social disorders.
Yeah, he's just really anxious. That's all it is.
So yeah, let's talk about him and this corporation as the villain, him as the main face of the villainry for most of the movie. How does he match up with all the villains that we've seen going this past year and all that stuff? Was he good at it? Was he bad? I already know the answer.
He was Jumanji-esque.
He was
Jumanji-esque.
He brought nothing to the table. And I like that guy as an actor. I like that guy.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
He was awesome in Sons of Anarchy.
Yes. I was just going to say that. Venus in Sons, he was amazing. And he's in Vice Principals, and he's weird, but he's awesome.
Oh, Vice Principals. Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
I love Goggins. Whenever I see him in something, I get excited for some reason.
Yeah.
He's going to be in Ant-Man and Wasp coming up later this year. So good on him. But no, he was not a good villain in this.
Mm-mm.
Like,
And that's not his fault, clearly, because we know he's good. This is a failure in writing.
But really, like, I don't know. He said he killed Lara's dad. He did not. Was he lying? Did he just misplace Lara's dad? Because he was living in a cave off on the side that really anybody who lives on this island could find, because he lit a fire like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So the smoke from that, the light from that, even reflecting out on the ocean, you're gonna see it. So he's just terrible in that respect. I was kind of expecting like that the temple would be exposed, and that when she showed up, she'd just lead them there. I didn't expect it to be buried like it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there was that. Like, I guess he could spend 7 years there, but I don't know. This whole thing was not great.
No, that whole first interrogation scene when she meets him was just still really weird in my head, and I want to watch it over again for that scene, but I'm not gonna go watch it over again for that scene, because it was just like he said some things and their like sort of interaction when they first met, and he had her stuff, and it was just like really weird. What is he? Who is he? We didn't know anything, and it was just like, I don't know. This is really weird. But him as a character, yes, horrible. Horribly
his
written.
sole motivation is to get back to his kids or something like that. Why does he take this job in the first place? And why do we care about him and his kids? He's evil. It just didn't bring anything. There was nothing emotional in this movie that you really connected with.
Even taking emotion out of it, I didn't understand the motivation for wanting to find this Himiko person. Did they really believe that there was a supernatural thing that she was capable of? Did they believe she was capable of controlling the weather? But there was no evidence of any of that. And then at the end, he's like, oh, it's a virus. By the way, I have this little pouch that I brought that's going to seal it, that I know is safe, that I can put it in because I knew it was a virus. It's like, no, then you should have said that.
Sure.
The whole time
but
that
they
Lara
were
and her
ancient
dad
stories, guys.
every time she's like,
Magic's
Dad, this
real.
is crazy. And he's like, no. If he had just said, honey, I get it, but this story, I think it's a virus. I think that she would have gone, oh,
yeah.
No, you know what? We got to stop them from getting there instead of leading the bad guy to the virus. I don't know.
Watching it, trying to watch this as somebody that doesn't know the story, there should have been that big earlier on, other than the tomb. I feel like that payoff was good, and it was like you can see her like figuring all out in her head, but that could have come sooner for me to care about the whole thing. If it would have came sooner, I would have been like, what?
I honestly don't think they knew.
No,
I really think they all thought this was a mystical being. I genuinely think that.
Why? Then why?
Because Kevin.
Because okay.
Can I ask why Mr. Croft was funding Trinity if they're this evil corporation? You're telling me he didn't know he owned the evil corporation that he's fighting against?
Because
we'll find out in the next movie.
Oh no! No, I don't. Maybe they didn't own Trinity. Hold on. No, I actually might be able to figure this one out. Maybe they didn't own Trinity when he was in control of the company.
Maybe
then she bought it.
The woman was working for them all the time and was an inside operative essentially. And when she gained control, then that's when that purchase happened. Maybe. Still stupid, but maybe. No. So fundamentally, this is the issue here. Action movies have problems. It's like we talked about with Star Wars. You go into a Star Wars movie knowing that there's going to be plot holes, blah, 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 blah. But if the characters and the story and the action are compelling enough, you're going to love it. It's the same thing with an action movie. Let's take, for example, The Fate of the Furious, which we reviewed highly last year. Yep. Stupid action movie. All of the Fast and the Furious movies are stupid action movies. There's plot points that don't make sense. There's things that happen that you're like, are you freaking kidding me? No human can do that. But you're so engaged in the characters. You're emotionally invested in the Dominic dead guy relationship. Jeez. Why can't I think of his name? So you're invested in these relationships and these characters, so you enjoy it. That's the exception. That's what makes a great action movie. That's what makes Die Hard, okay? This was your prototypical action movie. It was bad plot points, bad writing, but in this case, only decent action and characters that didn't compel you enough. Alicia Vikander looks like the Tomb Raider character. Great. From a acting standpoint, there was nothing outstanding about her. There was nothing outstanding about any of these performances that made me really want to root and relate for these people. So that's the problem. If you're bored, like Kevin said, and you want some mindless action, it's not the worst thing you're going to get from Redbox.
Nope.
But don't go out of your way to see it, because it's just your prototypical action movie, which is one of the lowly genres in film.
Right.
And a lot of people were comparing this movie to Jumanji, which is another video game, movie that came out. And this is the other side of the spectrum where, like we already said, it's super realistic. This is super like could happen right now. We don't know if magic is real, quote unquote. What's this whole this whole quest for magic this whole time. And it's like, which direction would you rather see this type of movie go in? The realistic sort of one that we saw with Tomb Raider, or would you have rather them be super, like Tim said at the beginning, doing superhero-esque stuff? Would you have been more off, better to like it that way if it was, set up that way where she can do like all these crazy flips and all this stuff?
I mean,
probably not, because I saw that and I didn't really like it the first time. So I was happy that they went this gritty direction, because this movie or this video game lends itself to that kind of story. It just needed to be a better story. It needed to be a better movie. That's all. This could have been good.
I mean, I think the short answer is I don't care if it's real or supernatural or blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I think it just has to be a better movie. Because I wouldn't mind it if they got there and all of a sudden there was a scepter that allowed them to control the winds or whatever. I'd almost like that better, because that would mean that he was actually trapped on the island, or she was actually trapped on the island, and not just that they had bad luck because no one was paying attention and their boat crashed, and then they just didn't get off the island. They could have radioed for a helicopter. Like, anybody could come to or leave this island at any point. In fact, she could have hired a helicopter. Would have cost her a hell of a lot less than hiring an entire boat that needed a crew of 8 but had a crew of 1. So,
and still ran well. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
really.
I just wanted to pinpoint it because, I just want to pinpoint what we disliked about this movie. And it's not that it was super realistic, because I really did like it as well. I mean, that whole first visceral kill that she gets really rocks her. And that's one of the high points for me in the movie, was when she actually does kill somebody in self-defense. And I can feel that. I think they did a good job of that, where it actually feels like, oh my God, like I put myself in her shoes, like my life is in danger. This is the first time that my life is really in danger, not just running away from people shooting, but like, this guy is going to kill me and I have to kill him. And she kills him. And then you can kind of feel her just like, whoa, I did that. And that was like a moment that I really did like about that movie. But
that was one of the highlights in the movie. There was definite remorse there, and that's not normally something you see in an action movie. So again, they tried to be a little more subtle and a little more, put a little more into the story than they ended up executing on. But yeah, you could sense this, like, I just killed a man, and it was something there, and that was cool. If there was more of that, that's kind of my point. I would be perfectly fine if this was a gritty, real, emotional story like they tried to do. They just needed to do a better job of it.
Right.
I'll go back to Zelda. If they made a Zelda movie, I would love for it to be in the vein of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, drama, cool. Serious, big. That would be amazing. It just needs to be done really, really well. Take Lord of the Rings, for example. You take the first trilogy from the book, you make really good movie with really great production, really great acting, and a really great, well-executed story, and it almost won an Oscar. You take The Hobbit and you do it for shit, and nobody likes it. It's all about how you execute whatever genre you get into.
Sure. But I think really what a lot of movies suffer from now is that they're setting up the sequel. They're not their own thing. And this one was a lot of that. It set up a lot of Trinity. It set up Anna as the bad guy. She's the overarching villain. Walton Goggins was just sort of the mini boss.
Sure.
But if they had focused less on that and more on making a good movie, or conversely, if they had said, we're making 3 movies, this is going to be the first of 3.
Right.
Here's the mini story to get it started. We
Oh
know
my God.
cliffhanger. I almost kind of would have appreciated that better.
That would have been so much better. Give me a 30-minute YouTube Red video. and I would have been like so okay with that. Like, this story didn't need to be fleshed out.
And the slow-mo guys.
Yeah, slow-mo guys. But this didn't need to be as much as it was, or as long as it was. Again, I talk about how I go to the movie theater now quite a bit, and I'm pulling up, wanting to pull out my phone to check things, and I'm like, the movie should not have me do that. I don't think.
No.
And I have a good enough attention span for me to sit through a whole movie without doing anything else. But if I have that feeling that I want to be doing something else, that's not a great movie. So that's how I kind of judge it, by how many times I check my notifications.
So two other big problems I had with this, just, specific points. This whole thing was to meet her father. She meets her father. She doesn't like her father anymore. And then her father dies.
Yeah.
Like, there was no payoff. When she met him, she didn't even like him. And then he dies. And so they never get to redeem that relationship.
She kind of goes back to the mainland, and she's like, no, you're right. He's dead. Let me sign here.
And it was his death was really so unnecessary. Yeah. It didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. Stupid. Okay.
No, it did it because he was so stupid. I'll let you go, but he touched the guy and got infected on one arm. He took off the belt. He cinched it off so that the blood.
I thought he was going to cut it.
Right? No. So I thought he'd be fine. And then what does he do? But he's touching his own hand with the other hand. You idiot. You deserved to die.
He's the stupidest genius I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Guy built a multi-billion-dollar corporation and is a part-time, really successful archaeologist and an explorer and student of history. And he makes mistakes at every turn we see him.
Sure. Well, his family did make most of his money, so it wasn't just him, but it was the Croft family. But I literally thought he was gonna go Saw 1 on this one. Like, he was just gonna tie it up with his arm and then just go to work to try and get this disease out of it. But he was
gonna
just like,
pull James Franco in 127 hours, just chop it off with a hatchet.
But
so there was that. And then so after he dies, she's running after the bad guy who's got the finger in the pouch. She's the only one with a weapon.
Yeah.
She's got a freaking pickaxe, and she throws it in the ground for some unknown reason, leaves it behind, jumps around him to grab onto a ladder to pull herself off. What? Take the pickaxe, run at him from behind, and chop his head off. Stick him in the back of the head. Why would you do that?
Just grab the ladder and pull the ladder. You'll still have the ladder.
There's a million different ways she could have done this, but my point is she's the only one with a weapon. His gun is out. He's got nothing else. She's got a sharp metal object, and she leaves it in a place where the fight ends up going and lets him get it.
Yep.
While taking away her means for escape, which is supposed to be self-sacrificing. But again, there was no reason for that. That was unnecessary. So I'm not proud of her. I'm not saying how brave she is. I'm thinking you're an idiot because you had a way out of this.
She was saved because her dad blew himself up for no reason at the right time. And somehow that also blew up the rest of the temple. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
I'm
good on this movie.
We're done.
We're done. We're ending. No. How are we gonna
rate
this? How do we rate this, Tim?
I know.
We haven't done it in a long time.
So we have essentially 5 components, but 2 are one thing weighted twice, and I've named it. At first, we said, did we like it? It's called Nerdytainment.
Nerdytainment.
The Nerdytainment value.
That's
so Nerdytainment we rank on from 0 to 10, and then you count that twice.
Right.
The second one is acting and directing.
Hold on.
The quality of the film, the acting and the directing.
Oh boy.
Story, and visuals. So nerdytainment value, acting and directing as one category, story and visuals.
Okay.
Okay.
And then divide that by 5.
All right.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
All right. Boo, boo, boo.
So what Jules' ultimate rating for this movie is a 5. Right on the dot.
Wow.
That's what all that stuff, Nerdytainment, I think I gave it 2 4s. What was the lowest? Story and all that, I gave it a 2, and so on and so forth. Visuals really good. I really did enjoy the visuals. It did look really nice, so I gave that a high number, around 8 or 9, I think. But that's the only thing, and it wasn't nothing to write home about. Like, it was okay. Like, the action was whatever. So total 5. That's what I give this movie.
I give it a 6.6. I gave it 8 on Nerdytainment, 4 on acting, 5 on story, and 8 on visuals. So
I'm glad to see that in the new year you guys are still way overrating things. It's good that we took our whole thing down a bit. So
I gave something a 2.
Yeah, me too. Problem is, nothing else was all that high. So for Tim, Nerdytainment was 4.
Yeah.
Now remember, I said a watchable movie is 5. This is in my mind just below a watchable movie. I left there thinking I kind of wish I didn't see it.
Yep.
So I gave that a 4. Acting and directing was equally as poor. I gave that a 4 as well. Nobody was great. The directing wasn't great. The story was god awful. That's a 2. And the visuals, I gave a 7, because I'll agree they weren't exceptional. They weren't Star Wars. They weren't Marvel level, but they were fine. So I give that a 7. So that leaves me to a 4.2 overall.
Cool.
Because below the watchable threshold.
It's all around there. 5, I hit right in the middle. So
yeah.
We would still like to hear your thoughts on this movie. Did we miss anything? Are we just complete idiots? Did you really love this movie? What do you think? Let us know at Nerdy Things Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And we'll talk about your stuff. We need some more voicemails as well and all that stuff. But we're definitely going to be doing a lot more movies going forward in the next coming weeks, because a lot of movies are coming out. So stay tuned for that. You've got to watch the movies the same weekend it comes out. That's just what you got to do if you want to.
We established a long time ago that if you're not committed enough to watch them week 1, we don't have time for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You can still listen to the beginning of the episode, but like I said already, don't forget you can reach us on most social media at Nerdy Things Pod. That's Nerdy Things Pod. You can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily and links to our merch for shirts and more. We have a ton of cool designs, and we might be getting some more very soon. Our Patreon for extra content like bloopers. We have a few bloopers and early access to the episode every week. You get it a day early. You get Kevin cursing out the person that hit him, a ton of other stuff that we put up for patrons only, and you get to suggest stuff, and all those Patreon stuff is there. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And we'd like to hear your thoughts on Tomb Raider. We want to hear your thoughts on video game movies in general. Let us know which video game movie was your favorite. Did you really like the Super Mario Brothers movie? Let us know how much you loved it. Let us know how much
cheap thrills. I love cheap thrills.
God.
Or okay, well, don't do that. But you can sing to us. We'll play it on the show, whatever it is. I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song. Friends and Let Friends go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com. And he just released a new album called Imbue.
And
I'd like to thank the Bell Curve for the music we used under the main topic.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.